Sometimes your phone feels like it arrived at a thought before you. You pause on a video for a fraction of a second too long, and suddenly the next 10 items in your feed pivot to match a mood you haven't even spoken out loud. People often assume the device is secretly listening through the microphone or somehow reading neural brainwaves to predict these shifts. In reality, the software requires no access to your inner monologue to achieve this effect. The platform continuously runs rapid behavioral experiments on you. It tests your reactions at a speed that outpaces human cognition, logging exactly what makes your thumb hesitate and what makes it swipe away. There is a temporal gap between the physical micro-action you take on a screen and the moment your conscious mind narrates that action to itself. The algorithm operates entirely inside that brief window. Modern software calculates and stages your desires before your reflective self can even catch up, rendering the idea of a pre-existing, fully formed preference obsolete. This predictive power relies on behavioral exhaust. Behavioral exhaust is the invisible layer of interaction data, every minor hesitation, click, and swipe that is constantly generated, tracked, and measured beneath the primary interface. The system harvests weak microsignals in real time, logging dwell time, skip rates, and scrolling velocity. Alone, these mean little. Together, they aggregate into complex patterns. Recommender systems model you as a fluctuating bundle of latent tastes, not a static identity profile. The system capitalizes on a psychological vulnerability known as constructed preference. Constructed preference is the principle that people do not hold a fixed set of desires in their heads, but instead build their preferences on the spot based on the context and framing of the choices presented to them. What you believe you want in the abstract regularly contradicts how you react in the moment. You might state a desire for educational documentaries, while your scroll velocity slows down exclusively for outrage or background comfort. Human desire is highly contextual and inherently unstable. Because human preference is a moving target, a platform constantly updating its model based on your microbehaviors easily gets ahead of your conscious intentions. This dynamic mirrors a biological reality known as the awareness lag. The awareness lag refers to the neuroscientific finding that the human brain prepares actions and decisions milliseconds before the conscious mind is aware of them. Platform software exploits this biological delay by analyzing the physical traces your behavior leaves behind right as those pre-conscious impulses occur, circumventing the need to read your brain activity directly. Once an algorithm accurately predicts what will hold your attention, it takes active control over the sequence and timing of the information you see next. By controlling the ranking and sequencing of information, the software becomes an active choice architecture, designing the environment to influence decisions. This curation suppresses certain wants while manufacturing conditions to intensify others. Unseen options dictate your experience heavily. Algorithmic ranking operates as world building. The platform actively participates in producing your taste rather than merely discovering it. The entire process eventually forms a closed loop. The algorithm's model continuously trains itself on user behavior that its own past recommendations helped produce. Researchers call this algorithmic confounding. Predictions change the target outcome, creating a cycle where the model learns from itself. The goals driving this loop are operational metrics like watch time, return frequency, and conversion, measurable proxies divorced from long-term satisfaction. Through repetitive exposure to this tightly controlled loop, your tastes are quietly trained to align with the platform's operational metrics. You begin to behave exactly as the model expects you to. The algorithmic unconscious acts as an automated assembly line of desire, shaping your reactions rather than simply storing a reflection of your true self. True digital agency requires recognizing the constructed nature of this environment and learning to see the machinery that stages your choices before you make them.